For the past 4 years now, the Boston Celtics have shown they're one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, reaching the Eastern Conference Finals in 2017, 2018 and 2020. But for one of the greatest franchises in NBA history, they are on a bit of a drought as their last championship was all the way back in 2008. And then their most recent one before that was all the way back in 1986. So can this be the year that they get back to their old ways? How are you all doing, guys? I hope you're doing really well, and as promised, this is my prediction video for the Boston Celtics and it's out before 2021. This is a series that I'm really enjoying doing, but if you do have any video suggestions, please leave them down below and I'll have a look at them. And if you're enjoying these, please hit the like button as it helps me out tremendously, and then without further ado, let's get right into the video. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, the Celtics have been really relevant again the past couple of years now, and their success has come from a relatively young squad, with their main stars being Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and then of course Kemba Walker. Jason Tatum is only 22, Jaylen Brown 24, Marcus Smart 26, and Kemba isn't too old either at 29. If you look at the rest of their roster too, they have 2 rookies and 6 players with only 1 year of experience in the NBA, so the Celtics are really set for the future. But for this video, I'm going to be talking about what they can do this season, as I do have quite high hopes for them. So let's start with Jason Tatum, as at only 22 years old, he's already had a good deal of success in the NBA, and averaged 23.4 points per game last season and was deservedly an All-Star. It's in the playoffs though that Tatum has really performed though. In his rookie season, the Celtics star at the time, Kyrie Irving, was injured and missed the entire playoffs. Jason Tatum had to step up, and step up he did. He became their leading scorer with 18.5 a night, with a decent effective field goal percentage of 51.5%. And even without Kyrie, the Celtics managed to reach the Eastern Conference Finals and took the Cleveland Cavaliers to 7 games. And in the fourth quarter of Game 7, Jason had his most memorable moment. He dunked on LeBron.
Celtics with 67 points with 6:45 remaining. Tatum drives down and throws it down! Wow!
www.ticket360, minha mãe do céu!
Although the Celtics did lose this game, a 20-year-old Tatum in his rookie season showed he had star potential. He is still nowhere near his prime though, and this season will be his best yet. I hate to say it though, but by some people's standards, Jason Tatum is definitely a bit overrated. I mean, ESPN has him as the 11th best player in the world, which just isn't true. I mean, he's not better than Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Joel Embiid, CP3, Devin Booker, Paul George, Karl-Anthony Towns, Kyrie Irving, or Donovan Mitchell, in my expert opinion obviously. I'd have him just inside my top 20, which I think is very fair if I'm honest. But then let's move on to Kemba Walker, who is unfortunately out at the moment but should be back for January. The past 4 years now, he's really come into his own as a point guard and has been an all-star for 4 consecutive years. His stats for the past 4 seasons have been impressive too: 23 points, a steal a game and 38% from 3. He isn't much of a passing guard though, only averaging 5.5 a night the past 4 seasons, but this Celtics team are great at creating their own chances, so it doesn't really matter that much. As Tatum gets better, Kemba will be forced to take a more secondary role on this team, and I think he will adapt well to this. If Kemba has another solid season, I can see him being an all-star once again and being one of the main reasons for the Celtics' success. Then I'm going to move on to Jaylen Brown, who is one of the most underrated players in the league. This is only his 5th year in the league, and last season he averaged just over 20 points a night and 38% from 3. Like the rest of the Celtics, he's not a great passer with only 2 assists a game last season, but it doesn't really matter for this team like I previously mentioned. He just needs to keep on being as aggressive as he is on offense and keep shooting around 6 threes a game, as this is a strength of his and he needs to utilise it more. Sooner or later, Jaylen Brown will be an all-star too, and I don't see the Celtics trading him anytime soon. Marcus Smart is also a key player for the Celtics, as he's one of the best defensive guards in the league. When the Celtics play teams with the best guards such as Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, you know Smart will make them play a little bit worse than they usually do. Last year, he averaged almost 2 steals a game, and although there's no stats for it, I know he took a lot of charges too. What I'd really like to see Smart do this year though is take a step back offensively and let Jaylen Brown, Kemba and Tatum take more of the shots. Last year, he only shot 37.5% from the field with over 11 shots a game. He should focus more on taking open catch and shoot threes and kicking the ball out when he drives to the basket. I would imagine this is something the Celtics coaching staff have already gone over with him though. And then their starting centre is Tristan Thompson, who is really just an average centre and should focus on rebounds this year and finishing close around the basket. Who I'd really love to get some more minutes though is Taco Fall, as I honestly think he could be a starting centre in a few years. I don't expect him to play much this year though, but in certain moments, Taco could be quite valuable. And the Celtics also have Brad Stevens as their head coach, who I think is one of the best coaches in the league, and he really knows how to coach this team. So then with all that being said, what is my floor and ceiling for the Boston Celtics this season? And for the regular season, I'm actually not going to have their ceiling as the number 1 seed, as I don't think they can beat out both the Milwaukee Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets. I think they can maybe do better than one of them though, so I'm going to put their ceiling as the number 2 seed. And then for the postseason, I could see them reaching the Eastern Conference Finals again, and then possibly beating whatever team they face there in a 7-game series. And as the Celtics have proved the past couple of years now, they really step it up in the playoffs, so their ceiling for me is going to be getting to the finals, but I don't think they can win that. For their floor, I think their regular season seed could drop quite low to around the 5th seed. And this would be being with the Bucks, Heat, Raptors and Nets all finishing above them. I'd be surprised if they dropped this low, and to be honest, I think they'll finish the 3rd seed in the East. And then for the playoffs, I think they'll definitely get out of the first round, but then in the second round they could easily face the Brooklyn Nets or the Milwaukee Bucks, and in a 7-game series they could easily lose this. So then my floor for them is the Eastern Conference semi-finals, but I do think they'll get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Where do you think the Boston Celtics will finish though, as I think a lot of fans will have different expectations for them. And so yeah, that's everything for this video, and I don't know what my next team will be, but I think I might go back to a team from the West for the next video. And then so as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.